Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.
Next on HIKI No, stories from across our island chain.
Is texting deforming our spines?
You can see where the vertebrae are here, and that comes from the head dropping forward and the shoulders dropping forward and creating kind of this hunchback.
Plus, a teacher and her community take on the challenge of cooling a 90-degree classroom.
And we'll meet one of the state's top junior lifeguards, who happens to be a 13-year-old girl.
Speaking of saving lives, we'll show you the ins and outs of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, more commonly known as CPR.
We'll delve into the wisdom of a legendary high school athletic director.
And we'll meet a teacher who lives by her belief that photography is the universal language.
All on this episode of the nation's first statewide student news network, HIKI No.
Can do.
We're here at Sacred Hearts Academy in the heart of Kaimuki on the island of Oahu. Throughout this episode of HIKI No, you'll find out the different ways that Hawaii schools serve lunch to their students. At our school, the build-your-own pizza, salad, and sandwich options have been a tasty twist to traditional school lunch menus. Using a simple checklist form, students choose from a list of local ingredients. They do this in the morning so that, by lunchtime, their meal is ready for pickup and ready to be enjoyed. The Academy prides itself on being one of few private schools to offer customizable grab-and-go options like this, which is especially nice for those who have to rush off to meetings or make up exams. The following feature by our HIKI No reporters explores the topic of text neck, a term used to describe neck pain caused by looking down at digital devices too frequently and for too long.
Smartphones, tablets, laptops. All are forms of technology that practically never leave our side.
I basically just have an Apple laptop and an iPhone like everybody else.
I think in our society today, wherever you go, you notice people from a young age to an old age, they're always on their phones or any electronic devices that they have.
But as they become more ingrained in our everyday lives, they're also becoming a real pain in the neck. Literally.
The connectivity, that's great for this generation, but it has given us some interesting conditions that we never saw before. The neck being one of them, also some problems with the fingers from repetitive motion that comes from texting.
Its development is similar to carpal tunnel, which is a painful condition in the wrist caused by a pinched nerve. The extra pressure puts a strain of 60 pounds on the neck and spine and can pull it out of alignment. It can also hurt your back.
And normally it should come down more like this. But you can see where the vertebrae are here, and that comes from the head dropping forward and the shoulders dropping forward and creating kind of this hunchback.
Kids are not the only ones experiencing this problem. As a high school teacher, Mr. Kevin Allen relies heavily on technology.
I use it daily, to check email, answer phone calls from whoever.
If your neck is flexed forward at like a 45-degree angle, which is very common in the texting, it actually increases the amount of strain on the neck to about 30 to 40 pounds.
I find that when I look down at my phone or my computer, my neck does get very sore from time to time.
If I'm using particularly a cell phone or an iPad and I'm looking down for I think longer than maybe 15, 20 minutes, my neck will start to sort of cramp up.
But texting isn't the only culprit. Experts say gaming and social media are also to blame. On an average, studies show that people spend over 4 hours a day on their devices. Although text neck is becoming a growing epidemic, there are still ways to prevent it.
Usually looking at some physical therapy, which might be aimed at trying to relax the muscles, sometimes using massage, stretching, ice, heat, and sometimes medications are needed to take down the inflammation in that muscle area.
I don't think that I could take any precautions. Like, I don't see myself lessening my time using my phone and my laptop, but knowing more about text neck and the effects it'll have, on me 20, 30 years from now, I'll be more aware of that.
Experts say knowledge is the first step, and being aware of the dangers of text neck could stop it from being a major health issue in the future. This is Frances Nicole Tabios from Sacred Hearts Academy for HIKI No.
HIKI No is now on Instagram. For show updates and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at HIKI No Can Do.
Aloha and welcome to Lahaina Intermediate School, located in Lahaina on the island of Maui. Every school day, except for Wednesdays, Lahaina Intermediate students enter the cafeteria for lunch by their grade. They enter the kitchen to get their meal consisting of a main item, a side, a choice of fruits or veggies, and milk. We use our IDs to pay for our lunch. On Wednesdays, all grades have the same lunch. We call it One Lunch Wednesday. Students also have another opportunity to eat during recess called Wiki. Wiki means fast or quick in Hawaiian. Now, a few of the students in our media production class have created the following issue piece about the air conditioning units at our school.
Imagine being a teacher and being stuck inside a 90-degree class for 7 hours. That was the reality for several teachers in portable classrooms at Lahaina Intermediate School.
It was hard for the kids to study and keep their focus. The heat would kind of drain them, pull them down, they get tired and they start yawning.
Prior to the air conditioning units, the portable classrooms felt like they were in a different part of the island. It was much more hot and humid compared to any other classroom on campus.
We would drink maybe 5 gallons. We'll go through like 5 gallons of water a week. Prior to the installation of the air conditioning, now with the air conditioning, that 5 gallons lasting us almost 2 weeks.
Before the kids would come in, they would be tired, they're thirsty, and it would be like 98 to 100 degrees in here, and who can learn or think in an environment like that?
As the sun got overhead, we could open up the windows on the Mauka side, while in the morning we opened up the Makai side. But as the sun moved to the Makai side, now we had to close the windows on the Makai side to stop the sun from coming in from that side. So it's like you playing against the sun all day long. We used to monitor the heat in this room with the thermometer we have up on the board, and it would range between 92, 93 degrees.
But the air conditioning did not just magically happen. Miss Bago, an English teacher here at our school, was tired of sitting in the heat, so she did something about it.
One day at church, our pastor had gotten wind of the problem here with the air conditioning, just asked me to stand up in front of the congregation and tell everybody how hot it was in my classroom. When I shared that it was 98 to 100 degrees, there were donations for at least 3 air conditioners for the school here.
Since September of 2015, the air conditioners have made the portables a better place for all students and teachers.
It dramatically affected the students as far as them being more comfortable in the classroom. After the installation of the air conditioning, the temperature dropped dramatically, pretty much maybe 10 degrees, at least 10 degrees, from maybe mid-90s, 92, 93, down to like maybe between 80, 82. It's still somewhat warm, but a lot more manageable than it was before.
As of May 2016, the DOE's Heat Abatement Program has a goal of installing air conditioning units in 1,000 classrooms. They have also bought 402 portable air conditioning units for the hottest classrooms in Hawaii.
Now the learning environment is wonderful. The kids look forward to coming in. I look forward to coming in. I can stay in my classroom and work. I can meet with kids at lunch, at recess, in the classroom, and have meetings here as well. And it's just a complete change around, like night and day.
This is Jagger King from Lahaina Intermediate School for HIKI No.
Stay tuned after the show to find out what students who created this story learned from their experience.
I'm here in the cafeteria kitchen of Kapa'a Middle School, located above Kapa'a Town on the east side of Kauai. Our cafeteria carries the distinction of having a primary baker, Auntie Lenora, who makes all of our banana bread, French bread, dinner rolls, burger buns, cinnamon rolls, and even pizza from scratch, meaning that all ingredients are fresh and not pre-processed. Auntie Lenora used to be a pastry chef at the historic Cocoa Palms Hotel, where she baked complex pastries for entire dining rooms full of guests. Apparently, making freshly baked goods for our students is equally enjoyable, but much more rewarding than her previous job. If you're on campus before lunch, you'll definitely smell Auntie Lenora's ovens baking her well-known specialties.
Our story from Kapa'a Middle School focuses on junior lifeguard competitor and athlete Asha McGinnis as she strives for success on and off the competition floor.
Asha McGinnis is one of the top junior lifeguards in the state. The 13-year-old from Kapa'a took first place in the state junior lifeguard competition's most grueling iron guard category.
That's a 200-meter swim, 200-meter run, and 400-meter paddle.
Kauai's junior lifeguard program taught her how to be strong both physically and mentally.
Learning how to save someone's life builds self-confidence. You know what to do in certain situations, and you know that you can help people, and you're not afraid to put yourself at risk because you know that everything is going to be okay.
During the program, the competitors spend their summer days working hard in the heat and training with intensity in the sand. For these teens, discipline is key.
I'm mainly a swimmer, but I always know that if I want to do well in junior lifeguard, I have to practice, and I have to practice hard. So that really motivates me to get to the beach and do a beach run and paddle also.
It's just a good activity during the summertime too for, you know, when kids would just ordinarily be hanging out or on their phones or watching TV.
The Junior Lifeguard Program has been teaching Kauai's teenagers important life-saving skills since it was founded in 1997. Guidance and leadership from seasoned county lifeguards help make the program a success.
I love working with the kids and educating the public. Every single year is choosing the team to represent us for states as well as nationals. It's so hard because everyone's so good. If I had my way, I would take them all.
Their dedication and hard work pay off. Kauai's junior lifeguards are 12-time returning state champions.
Confidence on the competition floor looks like you're not afraid to place bad. You don't psych yourself out when you look at the other kids that you're competing against, and you just know what to do.
But it's not all about the accolades. Both lifeguards and coaches say the lessons learned and experiences shared are most valuable. They give the participants the confidence and drive to always do their best.
Everybody's there to help you, and nobody's going to laugh at you. Everybody's going to help try to encourage you, and you can do it.
Building physical fitness, a competitive spirit, and strong support system, Kauai's Junior Lifeguard Program teaches our youth how to dive headfirst into any challenge that lies ahead. This is Talia Washington from Kapa'a Middle School for HIKI No.
Up next, students from Waiakea Intermediate School in the Hilo district of Hawaii Island introduce us to the hands-only method of CPR.
CPR is crucial in the instance of someone going into cardiac arrest. It buys you time against brain damage, which is vital for survival. Today we're going to demonstrate the most current method of CPR, which according to the Seattle Fire Department has the highest success rates.
Chris Hanza, a fire medical specialist from the Hawaii Fire Department, instructed some students on how to do hands-only CPR.
We're going to lock our fingers together, leaning directly over our victim. And how far down do I need to push? At least 2 inches, okay, at a rate or a speed of 100 to 120 compressions a minute. So it should be roughly about this speed here. Notice how I'm locking my elbows and bending at my waist. I'm pushing down on 2 inches. Once somebody stops breathing, within 4 to 6 minutes, brain damage is occurring. And that will never regenerate, and you'll never get that back. CPR should be done if somebody's not breathing, not responding. We should start immediate CPR. But don't forget to always call 911 and activate the emergency response system. And it's good if there's an AED in the area, somebody can run and go get the AED and put that AED or automated external defibrillator on as soon as possible.
In order to perform successful CPR, you must push down at least 2 inches into the victim's chest at a steady speed of 100 to 120 compressions a minute, and make sure to call 911 and instruct someone to get an AED.
Just remember, in an emergency, it is important that you don't stall. Call 911.
Aloha and welcome to Konawaena High School, located in Kea'awekosta on the leeward side of the Big Island of Hawaii. Our school cafeteria serves over 1,100 meals during the school day and has been managed by Kip Yamamoto for over 15 years. The cafeteria prepares meals for both Konawaena High School and Konawaena Middle School. The Konawaena cafeteria also provides meals for Hawaiian Immersion Ke Kula o Ehu Nui Kaimalino and the Elderly Center. HIKI No students in our media class produced a story about retiring athletic director William Trumbo, who dedicated his life to supporting young athletes.
And sport, I think, is the rare expression of art and movement that people don't realize how expressive it is.
Konawaena High School's Strong Athletic Program has been under the leadership of Athletics Director Bill Trumbo for the past 7 years. In the fall of 2015, Mr. Trumbo announced he was retiring from his position as an athletics director. Bill Trumbo has dedicated the last 55 years to supporting young athletes.
All people, I think, have a competitive nature. They're challenged. I think there's nothing of any more sheer pleasure than putting your abilities competitively against someone else.
Mr. Trumbo's success as an athletic director is due to his passion and dedication to helping young athletes. He has mastered the skills to communicate well, network, and build community through sports.
The two final awards, in my mind, are what it's all about to be a Wildcat athlete. It's what I call...
I think one of his most positive traits is his voice. I think it's really good to have a large voice that really carries.
Mr. Trumbo has sustained his long career by demanding and giving respect, while still demonstrating how deeply he cares for the well-being of his student athletes.
Even if I have to be harsh with them and call them to task because their behavior is not what I would like to have, nor should the coaches accept that, but the coaches aren't here all the time. I am. You know, I don't care if I'm popular. I care if I am respected, if I'm regarded highly, and those kids know I care about them.
He always stopped me and he always cared and said, "How are you? How's your day?" I remember the CAM game where it was pouring rain and I look to my left and I see Trumbo in his long white socks on a really comfortable chair, but totally in the rain watching us and supporting us, and I think that's what makes him an awesome athletic director.
As an athletics director, Mr. Trumbo faces concerns from parents about the safety of their children and the prevention of sports injuries.
We're in Washington, D.C. playing in a basketball tournament. It was very prestigious, so like all the high top-ranked teams were playing in that tournament. The last game I injured my left ankle really bad. It was like a high ankle sprain. And then ever since then, Trumbo comes up to me and he's always asking me like, "Oh, how's your ankle? Like how it's doing? Am I doing rehab?" And he just is there and just telling me to just like not rush into playing, but just take your time and do rehab because I have a big future ahead of me. He really cared for like my health, and it's just that was really, I took that to heart. Like he cares for me.
After leaving his job as the Konawaena High School athletic director, Mr. Trumbo has no plans to retire from being involved with sports in Hawaii.
Well, I'm not retiring. I'm taking a new position in July, but the position is I'm going to work for myself. I'm establishing a nonprofit, educational, cultural type of business that will help perpetuate the culture in Hawaii with sport.
He's a big reason of Konawaena's success in athletics. And he's the backbone of this whole operation. And I really love that guy. I'm gonna miss him.
Games and fun, it's been my life. Oh, I would rather compete than do anything.
Even though Mr. Trumbo will not be working at Konawaena High School as the athletic director, he will always be a Wildcat wherever his journey takes him. This is Hannah Duman from Konawaena High School for HIKI No.
We're here in Kalani High School's cafeteria located in East Honolulu on the island of Oahu. For the 2016 through 2017 school year, alternate lunches are making a comeback at Kalani. Students now have a wider variety of choices during lunch. They can choose from 2 different hot entrees or a fresh salad. Kalani High School's cafeteria now serves only about 42% of its students a month. We hope that percentage increases. With the variety of alternate lunches, more kids will now be able to have a healthy meal at school for an affordable price. The following story by the HIKI No students at Kalani High School is about Mrs. Tran and her photography business.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Van Tran Trimner, better known as Mrs. Tran by her students, has been teaching photography at Kalani High School since 2002. However, her passion for picture taking began long before that.
Composition. Okay, lighting, of course, will make their skin look pretty.
I first became interested in photography when I was probably 5 years old, and I was looking through my parents' old pictures. And my parents were refugees from Vietnam. So when they fled their home country, the only thing that they brought with them of value were pictures.
In 2012, Mrs. Tran began her own photography business called The Girl and the Boy Photography. After being told students were tired of the traditional senior portraits, she took on the task of taking the pictures herself.
Yes, I'm ready.
So they were looking for pictures that are more about their personality, so they can show their personality through their pictures, somewhere at a different environment, something that's more them.
Mrs. Tran started collaborating with local businesses in 2015 by having photo shoots to promote their stores, which gave her the idea to incorporate her students in giving them the opportunity to gain experience of being a part of a professional photo shoot.
Okay, so I need you to shade me.
I'm hoping that later on they can take on bigger roles in photo shoots, like styling or casting, location, scouts, creative directing, so coming up with ideas for photo shoots. I believe that photography is the most powerful means of communication because anyone from anywhere around the world, they can look at the same picture and understand that image. Whereas I know the argument is, math is a universal language, but not everyone's a mathematician. Music's a universal language, but not everyone can play music. So I really think that, photography is the universal language. I try to bring this philosophy of that, photography can have great meaning and purpose into every photo shoot and also into the classroom, because I want to remind people that it's not about the number of likes you get on Instagram, but some photographs, they're there to remind yourself that life is really precious and that time goes by really fast and that it has great meaning and purpose.
Using the power of photography, Mrs. Tran continues to share her philosophy and capture memorable moments for not just herself, but her students as well. This is Anya Carroll from Kalani High School for HIKI No.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode of HIKI No.
Remember, all of these stories were written, shot, and edited by students like us.
We hope you've enjoyed watching them as much as we've enjoyed sharing them with you.
Stay tuned after the credits to find out what some students learned from working on this show.
More proof that Hawaii students HIKI No.
Can do.
Stay tuned after the credits to find out what some students learned from their HIKI No experience.
Sometimes a lot of people learn by their mistakes because not a lot of things go perfectly.
In Lahaina Intermediate Story about Air Conditioning Units, I worked on pre-production planning and filming.
I was camera when Kendall was gone and assistant when Kendall was around.
This story is about one of the teachers at our school who was really tired of being in like a constantly 90-degree classroom, speaking up to her church.
I think the thing that they got the most out of is a chance to exercise perseverance.
The making of our HIKI no story probably took about 6 months.
For us, it was a difficult task. Like, we couldn't decide what we were going to do. We weren't settled on the topic. We had somewhat of a vision, but not a full one. And when we went to go get out B-roll, it didn't really match up to what we were hoping for.
During the filming process, we would film, kind of add to what we had, edit, and then we would send it to our mentor. And then she would tell us like, okay, you shouldn't use this shot. It's not up to HIKI no standards. Kind of refilm it, but in this way so that it was kind of acceptable.
Sometimes a lot of people learn by their mistakes because not a lot of things go perfectly. In order to learn or to get better at a sport or filming or a class, you need to practice. And sometimes your failures help you. They raise you up.
You can't always be the leader. Being a leader is great, but feeling what it's like to be someone who is led makes you a better leader.
You need friends to help you through difficult times, and you do need studies to get a job. But to stay in a job, you need to work well with others. You need to know how to talk to others and share your ideas.
Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.